Ladies and gentlemen, a less known aspect of Operation Market Garden was the special bridging force formed close to the Dutch-Belgian border. 9,000 sappers and pioneers and some 2,200 vehicles were ready to be deployed along the 70 miles route to Arnhem to bridge one of the main water barriers, should the bridges not be taken. On the 16th of September, this force was joined by Royal Canadian Engineers units coming all the way from Brussels. This was for a reason. The Royal Canadian Engineers were well trained in crossing broad and fast flowing rivers. First Army troops, Royal Canadian Engineers, entered Nijmegen on the 21st of September 1944. Ready for bridging the Rhine River at Arnhem, their orders on the evening of the 25th turned out to be much different. Montgomery had decided to evacuate the remnants of 1st British Airborne Division, and this task was given to 2 Royal Engineers units and the 20th and 23rd Company's Royal Canadian Engineers, 1st Canadian Army troops. 23rd Company was assigned to a previously reconnoitred site east of Driel, which was chosen as best possible assault boat crossing. The operation started at 9:30 in the evening. Within the first hour, 3 boats sunk before they reached the other side, and the 4th capsized with a full load on the return trip. The next 14 boats, launched with about 20 minutes intervals, were not lost, and in total made 150 crossings. 23rd Company lost 6 men that night. One of them, Sapper Neil Thompson, is buried here at the Commonwealth at the Canadian War Cemetery, together with 64 of Royal Canadian Engineers. Sapper Leslie Reuter's name is on the Groesbeek Memorial, with 3 names of sappers whose remains were never found. When the Battle of the Scheldt ended, more Royal Canadian Engineers units gradually started to arrive in the Nijmegen region, road maintenance being their major task. The Germans showed great initiative in destroying the bridges at Nijmegen. And on the other hand, 2nd Canadian Corps did all they could to protect it and maintain the all-important Nijmegen bridgehead. 23rd Company again was called to the task of ferrying fugitives across the Nederrijn at Heteren in the second half of November 1944. Although small units of Royal Canadian Engineers were involved in bridging after the German bridgehead across the Maas at Venlo was cleared, in general, they devoted the month of December 1944 to the improvement of communications in preparation of the final push into Germany to the Rhine. Their task was a gigantic one, and to keep abreast of the work, large groups of civilians requisitioned through local authorities in every district. This meant in the Nijmegen region, around 1,000 civilians were working in depots and road maintenance in the weeks prior to Operation Veritable. When Veritable was drawing near, road maintenance in areas well forward had to be carried out without civilians. Here, minefields occupied a considerable number of men. In the week before Veritable, Royal Canadian Engineers 2nd Division alone lifted 11,000 mines in this area. A crossing other than existing low-level floating bridges was desired on the Maas River. And this meant the biggest bridging job of the month, January 1945, was a 24 class bridge at the site of the demolished railway bridge at Mook. Work by 5th Field Company Royal Canadian Engineers with assistance of other engineer units, including again the 23rd Company, was finished by the end of February. Once again, the 23rd lost a member. Lance Corporal Barbaro succumbed to the current of the Maas River while saving others from drowning on February 15, 1945. On the night of the 30th to the 31st of January 1945, before the peak of moves necessitated to concentrate units for Operation Veritable, the thaw set in. Almost all roads leading up to the Nijmegen bridgehead went to pieces, as did tarmac surfaced roads without real foundation. Only recently established roads by the army with deep stone or solid base stood up quite well. Dear guests, planning Operation Veritable in such detail could never have been accomplished without the 3 Canadian survey companies and 1st Canadian Army Field Survey Depot of the Royal Canadian Engineers. Throughout the winter of 1944, British and Canadian survey units labored with the revision of 1 to 25,000 scale German maps that covered area beyond the Rhine River. As well, maps of the Netherlands from US sources were also reworked as a 4-color edition. These so-called defense overprints were produced in vast numbers and indispensable for planners. Operation Veritable started on the 8th of February with the first phase of clearing the Reichswald force and advanced to the line Gennep-Asperen-Kleef. And despite the trouble of mud, almost all initial objectives were captured that day. 2nd Canadian Infantry Division cleared the ground south of the road Nijmegen-Kranenburg after the reduction of an enemy pocket at Wieler. This delayed the mine clearing parties for some time, but at 6:30 in the evening the road was open. 3rd Canadian Infantry Division in Buffaloes captured the south end of the Querdam, where also mine clearing operations began. And in the afternoon of the 9th, the Querdam broke and floodwater rose with 1 inch per hour. The main road was soon closed to everything but amphibious ducks. On the 11th of February, Kleef was reached, and 1 day later Bedburg and Houw. Now, but not without difficulty, work on the new supply lateral, the Gennep-Kleef road, began. This Class 40 bridge, so urgently required, could not be completed from flood bank to flood bank over the swollen Maas River until the 20th of February 1945. It was 4,008 feet long, floating Bailey and West Bailey on crab piers combined. But soon it had to be extended at both ends, resulting to be the longest bridge of the campaign of that date. And a model of this bridge is on an exhibition where coffee and tea will be served after the ceremony. Finally, on the 11th, situation on the Nijmegen-Kranenburg road started to improve. But this was short-lived when the Germans blew the sluice gates of the Spoy Canal north of Kleef, turned the waters of the Kalvak Canal loose below Kalkar, and opened sluices in the Emmerich area. By February 13, the Groesbeek-Kleef road was under 40 inches of water, and the railway line from Groesbeek to Kleef was under as well. So 2nd Field Company Royal Canadian Engineers put a Class 9 ferry service in effect between Wheeler and Nutterden on the 14th. 20th Field Company started a similar ferry service on the 16th, but from the town of Beek. And by the end of February 22nd, flood had subsided and both ferry services stopped. With 2nd Canadian Corps battling on the main axis Kleef-Oudem, Royal Canadian Engineer units again started road maintenance. At the peak of Veritable, some 5,000 Royal Canadian Engineers were constantly in support of the fighting units, and this didn't stop when the Rhine was reached by March 10, 1945. Thank you.